and it'll
Many
be
families are
either
worse off
Tuesday,
than they were
this
just 4
coming
years
Tuesday,
ago.
the 18th.
We have a $16 trillion debt. I recall when Barack Obama was running for election in 2008, he talked about how immoral it was that President Bush had racked up a little more than $4 trillion in debt over 8 years. Well, this president has racked up more than $5 trillion over just three and a half years. That, quite frankly, is a real impediment to economic growth. It's a real noose around the neck for every family, everybody, every future generation that comes thereafter. A $16 trillion debt, when you think about it this way, you consider that the interest rates are as low as they are. They have nowhere to go but up. 16 trillion quickly becomes 32 trillion, which quickly becomes 64 trillion. We are at a breaking point. We are at a point where we must turn this country around and get spending under control. We have 23 million people that are out of work or underemployed. 23 million people. Think about that number. Unemployment is still above 8%. There's absolutely no reason why this economy should be in the shape that it's in. What it signifies is quite clearly a lack of leadership. A lack of leadership. That's why we must have Governor Romney elected this November the 6th to help turn this country around. Absent that, we're going to continue this path of more spending, more debt, and more economic decline. With Governor Romney, we'll begin to get the federal government under control, require that it live within its means. We can cut spending, we can cut taxes, and we can start creating jobs. It's only with less spending and lower taxes that you create jobs, because every dollar that you take out of the private sector is one less dollar that the private sector has to reinvest in its business, market its products and services, and therefore increase demand. And of course, if you're not increasing demand for your product or service, you're not going to have the opportunity to employ people. It's only when you have that increased demand that you have that opportunity to employ people. When businesses are making a profit and they feel good about the future and they have stability, that's when they start hiring. With me today, I have several that are going to talk to you a little further about this economy, this president, this election, and what it means for them. And before I move over to them, as many of you know, I've got a race of my own here in the 7th Congressional District against Congressman Mike McIntyre. He's been there 16 years. We have a $16 trillion debt. In comparison, I've served in the state Senate for 2 terms. Helped write 2 balanced budgets without raising taxes. That's a pretty significant difference. In fact, we cut taxes in the state legislature. In addition to that, he voted for the Obama failed stimulus. Not only once, but 3 times. That stimulus is one of the reasons why we've racked up more than $5 trillion in debt, and it's not helped the economy one bit. And not only has he been there 16 years and we have a $16 trillion debt, but in all 16 years that he's been there, not one bill that he's been the primary sponsor of has he gotten enacted into law. Not one. 0. Now that is failed leadership. That is why we've got to have a change. This election is a referendum on those who are in office. And because of that, we have got to recognize where we are and where we need to go. Now with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sean Cooner, who's a young professional and also a new dad. Sean?
Thanks, my name is Sean Keener. I'm 26 years old. I live here in Wilmington, North Carolina. 4 years ago, when Barack Obama was elected president, I held out a lot of hope that he'd be the type of president that would unite the country, bring down the national debt, and look out for the working class, people like myself. Unfortunately, over the last 4 years, I've seen none of his promises come true. In fact, we're going in the opposite direction. The national debt is skyrocketing at an astronomical amount. I'm also a new dad. Recently, been so fortunate enough to have a baby girl, but I truly worry with the policies that Barack Obama has put into place. I worry that my generation, her generation, and the next generation are going to be working for years to come to deal with the aftermath of the policies that he's put forth. That is why I'm supporting Governor Romney and Paul Ryan in this upcoming election.
Jeffrey Taswich, I'm a student here at UNCW, and support of Governor Romney because I don't feel like I am better off than we were 4 years ago. College students are more likely than any other demographic to graduate unemployed. I have several friends that have graduated unemployed this past spring. Even the ones that did find jobs or part-time jobs or internships had to move back home with their parents. I know my personal family. My sister, she's 10 years older than me. She got caught up in the change with Obama 4 years ago, and she's still struggling to find a full-time job after 4 years. My dad's seen a pay cut in his salary because of the downturn in the economy. My mom had to quit her job and move in to help take care of my grandma, which means I'm strapped with student loans, and I also had to work part-time to help put myself through college. And I don't want to be paying off the debt from this current administration for the rest of my professional career. So I think with Governor Romney, with the private sector experience, turn the economy around, and with fight the deficit, that's what we need to do.
I don't know if there are any questions of folks in the audience that look like the press took off this. I don't think they like what they heard. Either that or they just got everything,
But I just want to say something. I'm retired, and just like you tell people, I've been trying to find a part-time job for almost a year and a half here. And I came from Maryland, and I thought there would be a problem. I get a part-time job to supplement my retirement, and it's horrible. The unemployment is just horrendous. And I worry, like that for my grandchildren. I don't know where to go.
That's why we gotta have a big turnout and win this thing in the fall. Turn this thing around.
Thanks everyone for coming today. Appreciate it.